Namaskaram. My name is Kandade V. Sukumar. I have over 40 years of corporate experience of different fields, and I have moved into training and development and continue my connection with the corporate. So close to about 50 years of overall experience. Now I am a student of ancient scriptures of India, and I am at a elementary school level trying to explore, but still have that kind of a thinking that I can share whatever little that I have gathered from some of the scriptures and connect it to the corporate world. There are many scholars who have been doing that. I am going to add my small contribution to the big ocean. When we come to management, we are most westernized. We pick up a lot of concepts from the Western world. And people like Frederick Taylor, Henry Fayol, Tom Peters, Stephen Covey, and various names, they have established a certain amount of management principles in our minds. But lesser told are the facts that all the topics that we are discussing through the Western world are available within the scriptures of the Indian subcontinent. That means it dates back to the 50th, 60th centuries back. It has been there. The Vedas, starting from the Vedas. The Valmikis, the Vyasas, the Manus, the Chanakyas are not spoken as eloquently as the Western gurus. Of course, now it is changing. Quite a number of people are showing interest in what the Indian scriptures are offering. Still, there is some skepticism and some acceptance. It is a mix of all these items. As an individual, I have neither read all the Western gurus' preachings nor the scriptures in detail, but a few glances of certain scriptures had given me some incentive that I should start thinking as to what I can take out of those scriptures that will connect to the corporate world. So I am going to start a series of discussions, and the number will be 32 including this. Why this 32? There is so much of power of wisdom packed in a set of 30 verses, which is part of a Tamil scripture which is called the Prabandh. The 4000 is part of the 4000 verses in Tamil, popularly known as Nalayara Divya Prabandham. It's a Divya Prabandham. Divya Prabandham is a divine Prabandham. It is also called the Veda. It comprises all the Vedas. The 4 Vedas are comprised in the Prabandh. The power can expand to fill the universe. The 30 verses were sung by the Mother Earth, a consort of Lord Vishnu. So I am titling this series as Mother Earth Speaks to Corporates. The Tirupavai is a big ocean. It is also called the seeds of the Veda. Whatever the Veda offers, it is all packed in the 30 verses, and the entire meanings of Veda is given by Sri Andal. Of course, the divine person, so divine power, so it is possible to pack everything in that kind of a power. So I am going to share a very little knowledge. People say, no, what you know is handful. What you don't know is the universe. This is a quote by one of the ancient Tamil poetess rather, Owayar, which is true. But should I keep quiet about the smallness of what I know, or should I share this also? I chose the second one. So I am going to share a little knowledge that I have got. There could be some mistakes, there could be some misinterpretations, but there are certain amount of thinking that has gone in my mind, and I am expressing those thoughts. It is the title of this series is Mother Earth Speaks to Corporate. I also have come out with a book which is available in Amazon, but I am going to share some of the excerpts of that book, and you are welcome to look at that and read in detail. The Mother Earth is the reason for our existence, and whatever we are having, it is given by her only in abundance, except our own selves. Everything has come out of the earth. So that is the power of the Mother Earth. So when she is going to give us some advice, I think it is very important that we should look at it and see what we can get out of the whole thing. So these 30 verses are as eternal as the Mother Earth herself. So what is the purpose of this series? And the scripture is in Tamil, and I am speaking to you in a different language, which is English. So the purpose is to spread to a wider audience, is number one purpose. Number two, it should benefit the corporate, at least the young people in the corporate will be able to appreciate the power of the scriptures. People have known a lot of things have come out of Bhagavad Gita, the Manusmriti, etc., etc., the Chanakyas. They have got a lot of management input that have been developed using their scriptures. I am using this 30 verses, which is called Tirupavai. In the Tamil vernacular language, it is called the Tirupavai. I am going to use this 30 verses called the Tirupavai to explain as to what the 30 verses offer us as a corporate inputs. Most of the scriptures are not read in the original language. They are all read in the translated one. So there is another reason that I can use English as a possible language. So what is the genesis of this particular Tirupavai? The versions are multitudes. Ancestors, as they heard from the predecessors, have been maintaining the propagation of this over generations by saying something. But the beauty of the whole thing is the distortion from the original to what is available today is almost nil. So that's the power of the whole scriptures. Nothing has changed. What they heard about 1,000 years back, we are hearing the same thing. That means at the time there were no books, there was no printing, it was only by hearsay, listening, repeating, but not a word has changed. So is the meaning. So let me give you the background of the whole Tirupavai, the genesis of Tirupavai. I am using a particular philosophy of life, which is called the Vaishnavism, which is Lord Narayana based, Vishnu based, that's why it is a Vaishnavism. So I am using this as a media. So look at it only from that perspective, not as a religion for other purposes. Nothing to do with the religion, it is a philosophy. That philosophy is offering some teachings. Why not we take the teachings and look at it for our benefit? If the corporate can get benefit out of that, why not? That is the whole purpose of this. Back to the Genesis. Lord Narayan, He wanted to set a rule of living and principles of living for the mankind. So he wrote the Vedas through various means and made it available, but the implementation and the following were not to his satisfaction. He said, how do I make these people realize the power of these items? So out of the various methods, he also made one more effort by coming to the earth himself through various avatars, incarnations. He came as Rama, he came as Krishna, he came as Varaha, he came as Vamana, various avatars to tell people these are the ways to live, these are the principles, and tried his level best to convert the mankind which was drifting all the time. But he could not succeed. Why? Because the mankind said, you are Lord, you are avatar, you can follow, but we are all mortals. So we will be like that. Is it okay? Acceptable? So let me try another method. Okay, you are seeing me as a god. So let me send some people in the human form. And maybe you can see them and learn out of them. So he sent a lot of his mounts, his consorts, his weapons, his reclining bird, Adisesha. All those people came in the form of human beings and started preaching. And they are called the saint poets. Alvars we call it in the vernacular language. There were 12. Out of that, one was a female who wrote this 30 verses Tirupavai. How that lady avatar came, the Alvar came. So as he was sending various mounts and other people, he was looking for someone who can go and propagate good preaching to the mankind. So he looked around the three consorts that he had, Lakshmi, Sridevi, Neela Devi and Bhuma Devi. There are the three consorts, Lakshmi Devi, Neela Devi and Bhuma Devi are the three consorts Narayan has. So he was looking around who I can think. So he was looking for someone to prompt, volunteer. So Lakshmi said, I cannot leave you. I have taken over, I will not leave you, I will have to be only with you. So Neela Devi kept quiet. So then Bhuma Devi volunteered, yes, I will take this order. Because I am obliged to return a favor that you did to me in one of the avatars, that I got lost. I was kidnapped by one of the demon. So you rescued me from the demon. At that time, you asked me to do 3 things. Now it is time for me to go and do the 3 things. So that's how the whole Tirupavai came into, Adal avatar came into the picture. So Lord Narayan wished that Andal should do 3 things. People should respect and serve the servants of the Lord, which is Bhagavatas. Number 2, they should praise and seek the blessings and friendship of people who already have attained salvation with the Lord. Finally, chant the namas of the Lord regularly. So she said, I will do this. In the process of doing that, I also will give some good advices to the mankind. So she incarnated herself as Sri Andal, and as a child she was a prodigy of the Tamil literature. She was able to sing a lot of Tamil verses, out of which 30 are very, very significant. I have made an attempt to interpret and imagine and explore lessons out of these 30 verses that can be applied to the corporate life. To maintain the sanctity of the original scripture, I have followed the details that are being given by the scholars, acharyas, and added some more interpretation of my own as an interlace to the entire explanation. Some amazing facts I would like to share here about this is this Tirupavai is supposed to be recited every day in the homes of people who follow the philosophy of Vaishnavism. But nevertheless, there is a very specific time where there is a larger population start reciting these 30 verses. That specific time happens to be a month called Margari or Margashis in the Tamil calendar, which coincides with the Julian calendar, which overlaps between December and January. December 15th around that time to January 16th. Why this specific month, Margari? Why this particular time? Lord Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita says, out of the Vedas, I am Samaveta. Out of the poetic mantra, I am Gayatri mantra. Of the 12 calendar months, Tamil calendar months, I am Margashish. Of the seasons, I am the spring. So this particular month becomes very, very special. This also is called Dhanur month. Dhanur means the bow. And in the English calendar, Julian calendar, the zodiac calendar, it is a month where the zodiac Sagittarius overlaps this December-January period. In fact, this Bhagavad Gita was first told by Lord Krishna on the 11th day or from the new moon day during this period. Why this Margari is, this particular period is a very, very important period where the focus is more important. Any festivities, etc., 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 will dilute the attention, concentration. So during this particular month, there are no festivities. In the region of Tamil Nadu, where it is more popular. How does it connect to the corporate? December, January, most corporates, they end the business season by end of December and begin another one in the month of January. In the process, they wind up the previous year and start planning for the next year as to what can be the next year business plan. This particular period needs a lot of concentration. So they don't indulge in any of the other festivities, other activities. Their focus is only on preparing the plan for the next year. So there is a metaphor that I had corrected as to how this month connects to the corporate, and that incentivizes us to look at what these 30 verses can offer us. How this is going to be structured, this series is going to be structured, this is the opening one. So this will be followed by 30 different sessions. Each session is going to have the explanation of a particular verse. So it will be sung in the proper way, and you listen to that song, and I'll then explain the basic meanings and some interpretations as given by the scholars and acharyas, and a small pickups out of that verse which can connect to the corporate. And after the 30, I will conclude summarizing the entire 30 verses. That's why it is a 32 episodes. I am sure that this will help in many ways. One is popularize this scripture called Tirupavai to a wider area. Number two, it offers slightly different perspective to the scripture that people have seen it in different ways. Number three, the corporate can get some benefit out of the scriptures and start exploring other scriptures as to what they can offer as a corporate lessons. I can assure that I will not deviate from the standard path of explaining a particular scripture, and I will just only add a little bit of mine without tinkering with any of those items. I will try as much as possible. Any mistakes are my own doing. I will seek the pardon of all the acharyas if I had made some mistakes. So I will conclude this particular session with the promise that the next 30 sessions will definitely have something to offer to you as well as corporate, which you can go and propagate to various people that you are aware of. Thank you very much.